Okay, good Shabbos. As you can see, a few of our congregants have already left on holiday. Some of our congregants are already down in the Cape. Some landed in India this morning, in Delhi to be particular. Others are all over the place. Anyone here going away for the December break or January? Where are you guys going? Cape Town. Anyone else? Where are you going, Msatse? Home. Home. We go home in December here in South Africa. Right? Limpopo. Anyone else? The rest of you guys are gonna remain home. Wrong. You're all lying. Why? You are lying. Don't tell me you're going to Cape Town and tell me you're going home. And those of you that say you're going nowhere, you're on your way somewhere else. Where are you on your way to? No, not that garden route. We are constantly supposed to be on our way to Messianic Jerusalem. We should never lose focus of where we're on our way to. Don't think you're not going anywhere. We're always going somewhere. These other little pit stops that we do along the way, just that. They're pit stops along the way to where we're supposed to be going. This is a lesson we learned from this week's parasha from our father Yaakov. Because not only are you guys lying by telling me where you're going, apparently it seems as if Yaakov in this week's parasha is also lying about where he is going. Can you believe that? Can you imagine our father Yaakov telling a lie? No, it doesn't make sense. Our father Yaakov, according to our sages, is the embodiment of the Midah of Emes, which means he's the embodiment of truth. Grant truth to Jacob, loving kindness to Israel. Truth. This is supposed to be Yaakov. He should never in his life be able to tell a lie. So what happens in this week's parasha is after he wrestles with the angel all night long, and the next day he goes and finally meets up with his brother Esau and survives that thing. Esau invites him over for a braai, a bringam braai. Where? He says to Mount Seir. That's where Esau is living, Mount Seir. And he says, come to me. And what does Yaakov say? He says, sure. I'll come to Seir, but you go on ahead. Me and the kids, notice the kids are very small and young. We will come along at our own pace. Because if you go at the same speed as you and your 400 terrorists that you brought with you, the kids and my flocks and my cattle will surely die. So you go on ahead. I'll be there a little bit later. Okay, so this, of course, is a problem. And this is a problem that's picked up by the Midrash. It says in the Midrash Rabbah 78 verse 14, it says, Rabbi Abu said, we have reviewed the entire scriptures and we have not found any mention that Jacob ever went to Esau at Mount Seir. Can it be that Yaakov, who is truthfulness, nevertheless would have deceived his brother Esau and lied? What a scandal, what a shanda. Is it true that Yaakov lied? Here's the answer. He says, rather, when is it that Jacob comes to meet Esau at Mount Seir? In the messianic future to come. As it is written in today's Haftarah for us, Obadiah, the very last verse of Obadiah, chapter 1, there's only one chapter in Obadiah, but the very last verse, verse 21 says, and those who are saved at Mount Zion will ascend to the mountain of Esau to exact judgment upon it. We pray this every day in our Siddur. It's right after the Song of the Sea. Saviors will go up from Mount Zion to judge Mount Esau, and the kingdom will be the Lord's. So the Midrash is telling us here that Jacob didn't lie. He's going to make it eventually to Mount Seir. When is he going to do that? Through his descendant, the Moshiach. The Moshiach will go up to Mount Seir, and he will judge Mount Esau, is what the prophet is saying. So every time you greet someone and you say to them, see you later, be very careful what you say. Are you really going to see them later or not? This is what he did with Esau. He said, see you later, but. And Esau thought he was going to come in a few months' time, but he never got there. He's going to come in a few millennia time. And in fact, the Talmud takes this very story and gives us a halakha. There's a halakha that says, if an idolater asks you, where are you going? Don't tell him the truth. Instead, as Rashi puts it, give him a broad answer of where you are going, because he might ambush you along the way. Don't trust him. So if you're going to Cape Town and an idolater asks you where you're going, tell him you're going to the Free State. Because technically you're going to the Free State, but further than the Free State, right? You have to go past Three Sisters to get there, right? So this is what Rashi tells us. It's actually a halakha in the Talmud. If an idolater asks you where you're going, give him a broad answer so that he doesn't lie in ambush for you and kill you along the way. Okay, so did Yaakov lie? No, technically he didn't lie. He is MS, he is truth. Therefore, the understanding of what Yaakov answered is because our understanding should be that Yaakov is kingdom mindset. He's thinking about the kingdom. That's where his focus is. The coming of the Messiah and the redemption. So he says, yes, I will come to you in Seir, but not right now. Okay? Now, there's another way that we can derive this actually from the text. There's a rabbi by the name of Rabbeinu Bachya, and he actually goes and looks at that very sentence where he answers his brother Esau, and he says, look at the Hebrew. The very last letter in each of those words in that sentence, you put those letters together, it spells the name Eliyahu, Elijah. So he's saying, I will come to Mount Seir when Elijah prepares the way. Okay, so that's another way that we find and derive this from the text in the switch parasha. Now today I want to share with you something from Chassidus, a little Chassidic teaching that I heard this week, which is a little bit out there, but still play along with me because we're going to learn a valuable lesson from this. So Chassidus teaches us as follows. It teaches us that when Yaakov said, I will go there at the redemption, I will go when Moshiach comes, he actually told Esau, hey Esau, you know Moshiach is coming to your mountain. And when Esau heard this, what did Esau say about Moshiach? He said what all the Chabadniks say. We want Moshiach now. We want Moshiach now. This is why Esau said, come, let's go immediately to Mount Seir. If Moshiach is there, why wait? Let's pack our bags and go immediately. Forget about everything. We're taking on a road trip. Good. Let's go up to Seir now to see Moshiach. But Yaakov, what does Yaakov do? Yaakov says, no, we can't go see Moshiach now. He, in fact, delays the redemption. Okay, this doesn't make sense, right? This sounds opposite to what you would expect. Why is it that Yaakov would want to delay the redemption? Usually we always talk about hastening the redemption. It's even an instruction from our Apostle Peter tells us we need to do everything to hasten the redemption. So we have an opportunity here to learn something different from the other side of the coin about waiting and yearning for the redemption. The Midrash Rabbah answers this question with a focus on another verse from the sixth parasha. So you know when Jacob sends the angels ahead, the messengers ahead to his brother Esau before he encounters him, just to find out what's going on and send him some gifts? The angels come back to him and they report saying, we went to your brother, to Esau, and he had 400 men coming with him. Now the Midrash asks the question, why does it say we went to your brother, El Achicha, to Esav, El Esav? We know Esav is the brother of Yaakov. We could have just said we went to your brother or we went to Esav. Why does it say both of them? It's superfluous. And it gives us an explanation. It tells us that when they went there, he sent them as if he thought that his brother Esau had changed and become a better person. He looked at him as if it is his brother now. He wants to make peace and reconciliation with his brother. But when they got there, they saw that Esau brought with him 400 fighting men, terrorists, to come and kill his brother. So they say to him, we went to your brother, we thought it was your brother, but we actually met, not the changed man, we met the exact same Esau. Outwardly, he acts like he is now your brother, but inwardly, he still hates you and he wants to kill you. The very same old Esau that vowed to kill you last time you saw him. And this idea is also communicated again when they embrace each other, right? They come up and they kiss each other, and all our commentaries tell us this was more of a Judas kiss. He tried to bite him instead of kissing. Actually, what happened there? So that's a discussion for another day. One day when we study vampires, I'll give you that quote. Okay. So Jacob, he sent these messengers ahead with a hope that it would be a brother to him now, no longer his enemy, no longer someone trying to kill him. He was hoping that Esau would have changed by now, right? So that they could be ready for the redemption, to see the Messiah and welcome him and go to Mount Seir. He was hoping that Esau would have spiritually matured by this stage. He, last night, just wrestled with an angel and he changed his name. No longer will be known as heel grabber or supplanter. Now his name is Israel. He was hoping that his brother had just an equally motivational moment with God and would have changed from Esau to something better. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. That's why the angels come back and say, we saw your brother, we saw Esau, the exact same Esau. No change in his character. And when we see what Esau does, according to the specific understanding of it, the Chassidus understanding, that he said, oh, Moshiach is here, let's go immediately. This is the exact same Esau. He's trying to force the redemption instead of earn the redemption properly. He's saying, Moshiach now, let's go. We can't wait because Moshiach is at Mount Seir. This is a problem because once again, he has no patience. We learned this about Esau when he came in from the field and sold his birthright for nothing more than a bowl of soup. No patience. The future, the birthright, the promises meant nothing to him. He was all about the here and now. What? Someone says Moshiach is here? Let's go, is what Esau says. Yeshua warns us about this, right? Now compare Esau and that hastening of the redemption, if you can call it that Chassidus calls it. Compare him with his brother Yaakov. Yaakov, however, says, no, I have to go slow because if I go at your speed, it might kill all my flocks, all my cattle, and it might kill the young children. The Midrash, I think, tells us that at this stage, Reuben, the oldest son, was 13 years old, which means out of the 11 kids that were with them, they were all there like, what's that thing they're saying? All these little children, some of them still suckling on their mothers. And Esau said, come, don't worry about the kids. If they die on the way, let them die. This is what Esau was saying. As long as we get there now, it's Mashiach or nothing else. Esau said that. Yaakov said, no, I have to go at the pace of the children. Yaakov, he was ready to welcome the Mashiach if we had to go up to the mountain. A tzaddik is always ready to welcome the Mashiach. But the job of a tzaddik is not to worry about his own salvation. The job of a tzaddik is to gather in the others around him, to be selfless, to help others meet God, to be a light unto the nations. This is what the Abrahamic promise was in the Abrahamic covenant. Through you, all nations will be blessed. Okay, so let's fast forward a few thousand years, right? Here we sit today. We are believers who believe that Mashiach has already come. Okay, in reference to this prophecy of Obadiah, it says, when will we go up to Mount Seir? When the Mashiach comes. Okay, we sit here and we claim that he has come. So, did Yeshua go to Mount Seir 2,000 years ago when he was here? Let's first try and define who Edom is. Because he has to go and fight against Edomites, right? Anyone know who the literal Edomites are today? No, because they don't exist. The people of Edom are gone, right? We're about to celebrate Hanukkah and we'll learn about the Maccabees. Not only did the Maccabees defeat the Greeks, but they also defeated the Edomites. And what did they do with the Edomites? They actually forced the Edomites to convert to Judaism. So now the Edomites are among us, right? It's the story of old John Hyrcanus. He converted the Edomites to Judaism. So there's no longer a literal people called Edom that exists today. So we can't say that we're going to go and destroy the literal Edomites. But who did Jacob wrestle with the night before? Some opinions say it was the angel of Esau, the angel of the nation of Edom. Even though the literal descendants of Edom might not exist today, the angel of Edom still exists today. And who is represented as Edom nowadays? It's anyone who hates the people of Israel. This is the angel of Edom. The angel of Esau is Satan himself. Anyone who's anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, basically. These are the people that are now functioning in the spirit of the angel of Edom, the Edomites of our day. In Yeshua's day, who were the Edomites? Because they were also gone by then. Our rabbis looked at who was the biggest oppressor of the Jewish people in their day, and that was, of course, the nation of Rome. So our rabbis throughout the Midrash and the Talmud are always saying that Rome is Edom. Today, Rome is converted to Christianity, so now the Christians have become Edom, which is a very anachronistic. Doesn't make sense, but anyway, that's what we have. We have to live with it, right? Okay, so think about this now. Mashiach came 2,000 years ago, and we had a representative for the angel of Edom. It was the nation of Rome. What did Yeshua do about Rome? Everything was perfectly poised for him to come and fulfill this prophecy from Obadiah, to come and fulfill this promise that Jacob made to his brother, saying, you go ahead, I will come later at the coming of Mashiach. What did Yeshua do? Did he go and start a war with Rome? In fact, his disciples expected this of him, right? They asked him, when are you going to go fight against Rome and destroy them? We had the zealots in Jerusalem who were also shouting like Esau, Moshiach now, Moshiach now. We will take the kingdom, we will take the redemption by force, they were saying. Yeshua talks about this in Matthew as well, about people that tried to take the kingdom by force. Yeshua did not start that war. He did not try and take the kingdom by force. In fact, what Yeshua did was the physical redemption, he delayed it. Just like our father Jacob. He delayed it. Why? because the people were not spiritually mature and ready for the redemption. The people had problems. That generation of Yeshua was not ready for the Messianic era. Just like Esau, who wasn't ready, who hadn't changed, who hadn't had that battle and had wrestled with himself. Just like the children of Yaakov, who were so young that if we went to Mount Seir and brought the redemption right then, the children would probably have died on the way. He was thinking about this. Can you imagine if the Messianic era did start in Yeshua's generation, in that wicked generation? The Messianic era would be empty. No one would have been there at that party, at that Messianic banquet. Only 1 or 2 or 3 tzaddiks would have been there at that banquet. So instead, Yeshua gave up his life as an atonement for us. And he gave us more time to repent, more time to work on our spirituality, to mature, so that we also won't die along the way to the Messianic era, but that we will mature, not be like those little kids, and be able to partake of the Messianic era. And he extended this, right? Just like we said earlier, remember the Abrahamic covenant was that through you all the nations would be blessed. Yeshua did the same thing. Because of the work of Yeshua, he extended the timeline for the redemption, and he allowed, as Paul refers to it, the time until the fullness of the Gentiles to come in. You know those 400 men that were with Esau? What happened to those 400 men? Rashi tells us when Esau returns to Mount Seir, it doesn't mention them at all. On the way to Jacob, it's Esau plus his 400 men. But when he returns, these 400 guys have disappeared. What happened? Rashi tells us, one by one, these guys deserted Esau. Because they saw Jacob and they saw the promises of God and this man that just wrestled with an angel. And they realized following Edom is going to get us nowhere. So they started abandoning Edom, started abandoning the Satan and his plans. And I look at this as kind of like a prophetic play out of what's going to happen in the future. The prophets tell us that there will be those from the nations who do not join Edom in trying to destroy Israel. When it comes to the final war at the end of days, some of these nations will actually join with Israel and defend them instead of fighting against Israel. These are the 400 guys that no longer followed Esau, no longer wanted anything to do with this anti-Semitism. They joined Israel. And that, my friends, is the work that Yeshua did by delaying the redemption. Because today, we have nations upon nations who declare their care, their love, their joint dedication towards Israel as well. We're looking forward to the Jewish Moshiach when he comes. And on that day, when that war comes, they're not going to fight against Israel. They're rather going to fight against Edom. So because of Yeshua delaying the redemption, he allowed, as I think the book of Acts tells us, he allowed repentance, teshuva, even unto the Gentiles, even unto the nations. Okay, so we're asked the question, do we want Mashiach now? And what is our answer? Yes, of course, we do want Mashiach now. But it's not as simple as that, right? Because first, we have to do something. We have to wrestle with an angel. We have to wrestle with maybe even the angel of Edom, who is Satan himself, our accuser. We have to wrestle with our own evil inclinations so that we can become spiritually mature, so that we ourselves can actually be ready for when the Mashiach does come, so that we won't be like immature kids who might just die along the way if the Messianic era was to come now, because he would find us not ready, without oil in our lamps. We don't want to go in there, just one of us as a tzaddik. Imagine if only one of us here in this congregation was actually righteous and makes it to the Messianic era. Would that be any fun? No, what a boring party that would be. Hey, if only the goody two-shoes make it to the Messianic era. That'd be pretty boring and alone and lonely. We don't want that. We're supposed to gather in those around us. The Hasidic idea of this is called gathering in the sparks. Yeshua's definition of that is gathering in the lost sheep of the house of Israel. That's who Yeshua hung out with, was the lost sheep. He said, I did not come for the righteous, I came for the lost sheep. Because it's pointless that only one tzaddik makes it into the Messianic era. Just like Jacob spoke about the fact that, yes, I'm ready for the Mashiach, but my children are not ready. My flock is not ready. So too Yeshua said, the flock, the lost sheep, are not ready yet. So instead, he delayed the redemption. So our GPS is set in. We have a final destination. The final destination is Messianic Jerusalem, Mount Zion. But also, when Moshiach comes, he's going to take us to Mount Seir. We can judge Mount Seir. Our GPS is heading towards the coming of Moshiach. But we have some pit stops along the way called this life. And we have to use these pit stops wisely. And be careful, be cautious. Because Satan and our evil inclination are waiting along the way at these pit stops, waiting to ambush you at every single stop. But what do we do about that? We learn from the parasha. You have to wrestle with the angel of Edom, wrestle with Satan himself, and overcome him so that you can spiritually mature. That is literally what the name Israel means, is to wrestle with the angel and overcome. So if you want to join with the nation of Israel, with the name of Israel, you yourself have to also wrestle with an angel and overcome. So whether you are going away this December to the sea or wherever, or if you're staying here in pretty Pretoria, we are still both all on a journey and we have a destination. Our destination is the final redemption. And since we're all on a journey, even if you're not going away, I think it's only appropriate that we read the Traveler's Prayer. Because the Traveler's Prayer actually quotes this week's parasha. So I'm going to end off by reading the Traveler's Prayer, not just for if you're literally taking a journey down to the sea, down to the coast or whatever, but for this journey of life that we are on, aiming towards the redemption. Page 1010, page 1010 in your Siddur is the Traveler's Prayer. It says, "May it be your will, Lord our God and God of our fathers, to lead us to peace, direct our steps to peace, guide us to peace, and bring us to our desired destination in life, joy and peace. Rescue us from an enemy or ambush along the way." You have to expect these enemies and ambushes, right? It's halakha. "And from all afflictions that trouble the world, send blessing to the work of our hands, and let us find grace, kindness, and compassion from you and from all who see us. Hear our pleas, for you are a God who hears prayers and pleas. Blessed are you, Lord, who listens to prayer. May the Lord guard your going out and your return from now and forevermore." And then we always repeat 3 times the quote from this week's parasha. "And Jacob went on his way, and angels of God met him. When he saw them, Jacob said, 'This is God's camp.' And he named the place Machanayim." He named it after the 2 camps. So we are all on a journey, a life journey. And we need to be careful. We need to learn from our father Yaakov where the goal is, and make sure that we use the journey to help others around us become spiritually mature, to make it into God's kingdom. So I wish you a safe travels and Shabbat Shalom.